Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video on my YouTube channel. I am Nicholas and I'm very happy to welcome you to my first of many Supermassive Games Tierlist videos, which is going to be very similar to my edited talk videos about Supermassive Games, yet also very different. Because all those other videos require a lot of time, a lot of editing, and all that kind of stuff, right? Lots of script writing, which takes up to hours, sometimes even double digits. At least that's how it's been already for my character ranking video for the Dark Pictures Anthology. Then editing that all together, rendering, uploading, all that stuff. It takes a lot of time, okay? Especially the very big videos. And because it's taken me so long to get back to a video like that, I want to do another Supermassive Games video where we talk about the games and the characters, but in a much more lean back, relaxed, and chill way. And this is what these tier list videos are going to be like, because they're going to be focusing on very specific things, and I'm going to be doing a completely uncut one recording video where I just go ahead and talk. You guys listen, okay? Something just much more lean back and just not as, prepared, basically. Yeah, I think tier list videos are very, very good to do that. On top of that, I can already say that there's no music now to do that as well, because I obviously can't edit it in. I actually thought about letting a copyright-free playlist play in the background, but then I thought maybe it's even better for you to decide yourself if you want music in the background or not, to maybe choose your own background music as you listen to the video. Generally, I think this is a bit more of a background thing, that you don't need to watch straight up, but put on to the second screen or something like that, or play in the background. However you want to watch this video, I hope you enjoy it, because I think I definitely will. And the first tier list that we are going to be doing, I have a lot of different ideas for these tier list videos, is going to be me ranking the main characters after how much I like them. Likeability, something very important in games where you are, supposed to save people. Because I remember a lot of people purposely kill other characters because they didn't like them. So, that was never the case for me. But there were definitely obviously characters I liked much more than the others, where their deaths obviously affected me a little bit more. And this is our lineup of tiers here. As you can already see, 3 of them are not even revealed yet, because those 3 are for 3 specific characters. 1 at the bottom, 2 at the top. We will get to them when we get there. And the others, as you can see, they're awesome, I like them, and neutral. Generally, like mentioned, this is going to be very different from my other character ranking videos, which I already did for the Quarry and Until Dawn. There we focused on everything. There we ranked the characters based on everything included. How much I liked them, but also about how good they were in the story, how much a character adds to the game, and all that type of stuff, right? Today, it's really only about my personal opinion, how much I enjoy and like each character. So obviously, once again, maybe my opinion will be different to yours, which is totally fine. So tell me your tier list down below. But now, I'll start for myself. And we're doing this in alphabetical chronological order. So from Until Dawn to The Devil Me. And they're each character in, like mentioned, alphabetical order. And I think it's okay to not include all the side characters here, because let's be honest, most side characters are either villains or, and am I supposed to, I don't know. I think it's better to only focus on the main characters here. So let's kick off with Until Dawn, and the first one we have here is Ashley, and she is going to be, I already made myself a little, piece of paper at least, where I got a bit of a, my idea of where I wanted to put them. I'm putting Ashley into neutral. She's my first pick for neutral, because the thing about Ashley is, which I talked about in my Until Dawn character ranking video, she's a character that the player shapes especially. Is she going to be remorseful about the prank with Hannah, or is she going to be like, she deserved it, she shouldn't have overreacted, stuff like that? She has some moments in the game where she feels very, very annoying and very, very unlikable, but there are other moments where you can also, in my opinion, really like her and really feel for her, and I think this is why I think neutral is the best place for her here. She's definitely not a character that I hated or disliked straight up, but she was just also not a character that I just liked that much, where we're sort of like, oh my god, if she now died, no Markiplier for me on that part. So Ashley is going to be my first pick for neutral. Next up is Chris, and Chris is awesome. Chris is extremely likable, in my opinion. There's no really negative quality to him. There's nothing about the character that makes me go, he's annoying or not likable, whatever. He's just a really cool dude, the type of guy you can really imagine yourself hanging out with, going to cinema or stuff like that, right? Just a really cool dude, a bro, basically, right? You know, just a really cool guy. So yeah, definitely Chris, in my opinion, a very likable character that also has like very cool moments for the game as well. So that's it for Chris. Next up is Emily, and that is obviously a controversial one, and I actually put her very, very high on the character ranking list video, because I think Until Dawn would not be the same without Emily. You know, she's, in my opinion, extremely entertaining and just a very important character that just adds so much to the story and just the general everything. When we now do look at it in a likable way, where we really only look at her as a person, you know, I must admit that she definitely has her negatives. You know, she can definitely be very annoying, a bit bitchy, aggressive, and just mean for no reason. But I still gotta say that I like her. Okay? She's, like mentioned, definitely not someone that makes me go, wow, they were awesome, they were a great person. But I still wouldn't like really call her a bitch, or like, you know, I feel like Emily is one of those people that are mean as a way to hide their true feelings, and those people that they really like, as we could see in a few moments with Matt, they're really lovely towers. Okay, I think I really like Emily in some way. Maybe, I must admit, maybe I find her a bit, you know, as well, but I think she's cool. Okay, I think there were definitely even more annoying characters in the games that like really made me go again, may have been different if I played the game myself, but anytime I watched Until Dawn, there were moments where I were like, oh, Emily, you don't gotta be like that, but also where I'm like, hey, I can relate to her. Okay, that's why I put her here. Next up is Jessica, and that's now a very similar thing, because Emily and Jessica have a lot of similarities, where both of them, it's so annoying the way but the camera can't go further here. It's really annoying me. You know, I really like to do stuff with my left hand, so maybe let's do it like this. Jessica is very similar like Emily, because both of them are very mean, a bit bitchy, but once again, towards the right people, they're actually quite nice and quite, you know, which is why I would honestly go for the same route. I think I would put Jessica also into the I like them direction. Okay, like mentioned, may seem now harsh that Ashley is actually below them, because Ashley does not have such mean frontal personality as these two had. But I still like, I don't know, I just still like them more. Ashley just really had, like mentioned, character moments. Like, I mean, she literally let someone die, because even though she told him, hey, shoot me, you know what I mean, okay? I think both Emily and Jessica have mean sides to their personality that are very, very ugly in some way. But again, when you do actually get to know them, I think they're very, very cool persons. You know, that's why we put them here. Next up is Josh, and I would put Josh into a similar. It's difficult, obviously, because Josh turned out to be a bit of a, a problematic person. But the thing is with Josh, that besides that, for that, I hope you don't hear the. Yeah, I'm sure eat the Skittles actually. I don't know how much you can hear it, but before everything happens, I think you can see it, especially in the beginning when he is talking with Chris and everything. He's really cool. I think there he is really, really cool. Again, you do have to obviously look at him in the whole picture, in the whole way. And there obviously the stuff he did problematic, but you do gotta obviously give it to him, he's mentally ill, so we gotta have a bit of understanding for it, even though what he did was still very, very crazy. Because of those things, though, I guess I have to put him still into here. I like him in some way. I think he's still a cool dude. I think he's definitely a cool friend still. His relationship with Chris really, really showed that. But I don't think I can put him up here because of the stuff that happens in the secondary half of the game. Next up is Matt. And Matt is generally a character similar to Jessica and other characters we'll get to later, that you didn't really see that much of. Yeah, we will also be doing a tier list of screen time, where I think, hey, was that character, did he have enough screen time, did they have enough screen time or not? And then we will go more into detail about it. But Matt didn't have as much personality showcase moments as other characters had, but I would still say that I like him. He's a normal dude, he really protects and loves Emily, his girlfriend. He's just okay. You know, I don't dislike him. I think wouldn't put him into neutral. I think I definitely like Matt more than I would say he's, you know. There was honestly no moment in the game where I really thought, hey, Matt, you're annoying right now, or like dislike you or something like that. I think Matt is cool. You know, you don't see a lot of him, but the things you do see, I think make him a likable person. So I put him up here. Next is Mike. And it's honestly, once again, very similar to Emily and Jessica. Has a bit of a mean front view to himself, but the person that he really, really likes, he's really nice with him. You can really see his good character coming through, you know? I mean, he really, really gave his all to save Jessica there. So I would have to put them into a similar direction, okay? I like them, but like, I wouldn't, you know, when I see Mike, I see someone that's actually cool, but also just a bit too full of himself and has a bit ugly sides to him, but also someone that really, really can be a great person if necessary. And that's, I think, the best way to describe I like them, you know? Maybe I just like them the way they are, they don't have any downsides, but even maybe people with downsides are people you can like, and I think Mike absolutely fits into that. Next up is Sam, and she's awesome. Okay, no moment in the game where you could look negatively at her. I mean, you can make her ignore her friends and have them all die in the lot. I think that's obviously, you know, I understand that point if you want to make it, but Sam is just awesome. Okay, very, very likable, a great female lead. Just no moment in the game, like mentioned, that makes me go, Sam, whatever, you know. She's the type of character you really want to keep alive to the end because she's just all the way through cool, entertaining, and enjoyable. Great girl. Okay, she really, really cared for her friends as well. I think Sam definitely deserves to be up here. Let's move on to on. Moving over to Man of Medan, and I must admit, I will talk about it more during the full detailed character ranking video for the Dark Pages Anthology. Man of Medan's cast is a bit whatever, in the sense of there's just not as much character focus as in other games, which is why the majority of them will be ending up here, where I'm like, you know, I like them, but that's it. You know, I don't dislike them, but yeah, so Alex goes up here. I think Alex is totally fine, you know. There was no moment in the game where, like, you know, disliked him or anything. He really loves his brother and his girlfriend. But that's it basically. Okay, Alex is Alex. He's cool, he's fine, but he's a cool dude. Yeah, that's the best way to say it. I think the same goes for Brad. Okay, Brad is cool, he has cool hobbies. I think someone you can definitely talk cool with. Generally someone that is also probably just very, very nice and really, really good-hearted. Yeah, puts him here. And then Conrad. Conrad has a bit of a, you know, a bit full of himself here and there. You know, the money scene with the pirates. You know, was a bit, but other than that, I still like him. Okay, Conrad's still a cool dude, you know, has his own charm, his own personality. I think that definitely makes him stand out. Generally, when it comes to the Man of Medan cast, you definitely see here that they involved an actual, like, a known actor for the role. Conrad is definitely the most entertaining and just the most memorable character in all aspects of Man of Medan. So, also like him a lot. Now I must admit though, Fliss, I would have to put it here. The thing about Fliss is, she obviously has responsibility for a boat and all that kind of stuff, but there were just moments throughout the game where she just seemed unnecessarily mean and just, I don't know, just came off in a, like, bad way. Still, like mentioned, she's very caring, she still wants to keep the people alive, and she still obviously wants to see, everybody make it out. But, I don't know, throughout the entire game, she was just, there was a bit of a weird undertone to her, you know what I mean? Where she still felt a bit, like, unnecessarily strict and mean. Like, bitch, yeah, this is something, like mentions maybe, once again, her side. We didn't get to see a side like Jessica, Emily, or Mike, where they do really, really care for someone, because she didn't really have any, connection with any of the other characters where we could see something like that. I know there's this relationship thing with Conrad, but she's neutral. And here I have to say the same thing about Julia. Julia definitely doesn't have any negatives to her, like Fliss had, or like bad moments to her. But generally the thing for Julia is, which you will also once again hear in my detailed character ranking video, she's just, I don't know, she's there, you know? Julia's like really, really, I mean, again, it might have been because of the way my playthrough went, where she really was more of a secondary character and didn't like go down there and everything, you know? But she's okay. Like, I would still say I like her in some way, you know? Like, again, I don't dislike her in any way, but like, it's neutral, okay? I don't really like her that much. I don't dislike her at all. She's just okay. Well, she's there. I think that's a really good way to say it. She's there. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. So that's with Man of Medan. Like mentioned, the characters themselves, outside of Conrad, very, very normal. So no wonder that majority ends up somewhere here. Next up is Little Hope, and we have Andrew. And it's obviously a bit tricky. I mean, generally Little Hope is tricky when it comes to characters, because these four aren't even actually real, you know. When we look at Andrew though, and the way but we still look at them in the way they were portrayed as characters and just now think that they're real. Andrew himself is also not real, but the way he was through the game was likable, okay? Nothing really special, nothing that really makes you go, oh, you're so, oh, I love you so much, stuff like that. But like, cool, okay? Just a normal guy wanting to make it out alive, likable, you know? Angela is a bit of a weird case, because I actually know a lot of people like her. I think there are a lot of people that actually really, really like Angela. She's neutral to me, because in the beginning of the game, she really felt a bit annoying and a bit mean for no reason, similar, you know, to Fliss here. But the way the game goes, actually kind of grow towards her. She becomes actually a bit more likable, but still not enough likable for me to say, okay, I really, really like her. I'm neutral on her. I think she's okay. I think that's fair. Daniel, similar case as Brad or Alex as example. I like him. He's fine, but that's it. Okay. I think I can definitely say I like him. I think there was definitely no moment in the game like these forehand where it was like really, you know, why here, whatnot. I think he had cool scenes. I think he had cool moments. So I think it's more than fine to put him here. You would generally see already that this I like them is the most positive neutral stance you can have. Neutral in this way. It does have a bit of a negative undertone in there, you know. I think that's the best way to say it. Daniel didn't have any of that. Daniel didn't have any moment in the game that made me think a bit less of him. I think he's totally fine, and that's why he's likable. Next up is John, and I was honestly debating to put him here. I'd honestly put him here as well. The thing about John is I know that he's a bit of a different character, or like what means different, difficult is a better way to choose it, or a better way to say it. He has moments in the game where he feels a bit obnoxious, a bit unlikable as well even, but ultimately I think John was a very intriguing character. Great way of expressing himself, someone that was interesting to listen to, and I like that a lot about him, you know. He had his own demons to fight, you know, like everybody, and just generally had a lot to himself, that in my opinion made him a very likable character still, where I was very glad that he made it out alive to the end. You know, his relationship with Andrew especially, their section together there in the dollhouse in the museum, really, really cool. Okay, I really, really like John. I'm not sure if that's a popular opinion. I think there are some people that really don't like him, but I think he played a very, very enjoyable role throughout the game, and that's why I like him. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have our first of three, you know, question mark tiers. Because I must admit, and I can't even honestly tell exactly why that is so, but I don't know. I literally have to give Taylor her own tier. She's literally the only character across all the games that I really don't like. There was just, like, I haven't rewatched my Little Hope playthrough really, but during the game, when she did actually die near the end, where we're actually so close, actually keeping everybody alive for the first time, I was like, you know, and that's a horrible reaction. Usually I should have been, oh my god, no, fuck, shit, you know, similar to Abigail in the Quarry. But here, I was like, whatever, honestly. She was just, I don't know. There was just no moment in the game where it felt like, I mean, a bit of sympathy, I guess, could go towards the moment where she finds the tire on the tree or something like that. But other than that, Taylor is just annoying. She was actually annoying throughout the game. Like mentioned, all of these characters had their moments where they, man, I won't even lie, it's actually getting, do I have to put Julia actually up here? I'm just debating right now. Because again, she didn't have any negative moment like, my light fell over, wonderful. The setup is still so far from perfect. I'm so sorry. Ashley, Fliss, and Angela, like mentioned, had really moments that made me go a bit, fuck, you know, just like Jessica and Emily, but you know, they just didn't have it as you know, as good positives to make up for it like these two did. Do we actually? I don't know, I'm still not on her. I still don't really like her that much. It's just whatever. Okay, we just leave it at that. But yeah, like mentioned, Taylor is just, I don't know, literally the only character in the game or the indie games where I have zero likability to. I don't know. Just like when a character dies, it's supposed to be, you know, you're supposed to be upset, but I was literally just like, oh, who cares, you know? And I did not have to with any other characters outside of maybe the ones that died after other people died already. So you know, my wasn't as high as before. But yeah, Taylor, sorry girl, but you are the bottom for me. The bottom of all the characters when it comes to likability, at least. And honestly, even outside of that, her character's just whatever. You know, all other little characters still did much more than her as well. So little spoiler for the character of a ranking video, I guess. But yeah, Taylor on the bottom of the tier list. Now we go over to House of Ashes and Eric. Freaking awesome. Eric is absolutely awesome. Okay? Wait, why did I just realized the save for download wasn't there earlier? I generally have to yeah, I should have zoomed in more, I guess, but whatever. Eric is freaking awesome. Okay, Eric is a character who has its mean moments, you could say, as well. I mean, generally House of Ashes is such a very different theme and very different environment, you know, with all the soldier and you know, soldier aesthetics to it. But Eric is just so cool. Again, you can lose him really, really early, which is really unfortunate because I think seeing Eric throughout the entire game was a very, very huge reason why House of Ashes was as cool as it was. Because he's smart, he's very reasonable as well. Again, obviously a lot is depending on your choices, but like, I don't know, Eric was just really, really cool. The way he talked, the way he acted, his ideas, his general way of handling situations. He was freaking awesome, just like House of Ashes in general. And I think Eric was a great showcase for that. Eric is cool, and so is Jason. Jason is awesome. Again, you can make him a total dick, a total asshole who's, you know, just a racist American. But when you really get into that relationship with Salim and really have him become a changed man, he is absolutely one of the greats of Supermassive, just as an entire character. I think he is literally, little spoiler once again already probably, when we look at the characters in general, and the way, you know, they can like progress through the game, he's up there in the top 10, if not even top 5. Jason definitely one of the best characters across the entire games, and even outside of that, in my opinion, he's still likable. A very cool dude, badass, and like mentioned, when you really, really have him change, he becomes also just extremely, you know, a person you both want to see and make it out alive, but also just someone you really, really appreciate and respect. Jason's freaking awesome, and in my opinion, so is Nick. Nick also freaking awesome. Okay, I think the thing that I enjoyed the most about his character was what made him very likable for me was the entire subplot where he was really, really upset or even depressed about the situation where they accidentally killed someone, you know, him and Jason, which really shows, you know, he cares, you know, he really, really thinks about every life out there, and I think that was really something that really made him stood out for me. I do must admit, yeah, he is a bit of a wrecker as well, if you know what I mean, right? He engaged in the relationship with Rachel, even though I actually still don't remember fully. Did he know? I think he did. I think he know that, you know, I mean, Eric King, Rachel King, yeah, you know. But like he, then even that, you know, he wanted to be clear about it. He wanted Rachel to go forward. He was the one that initiated everything. He wanted to make everything clear here. It was still wrong that he still, you know, went for it. While they were still together, but he still wanted to clear things out then as soon as possible. So in my opinion, that reverts it a little bit. So yeah, Nick, a freaking awesome character. Now on the other side though, I gotta put Rachel into neutral as well. Simply because I think it's always a bit, I think when it comes, I mean, cheating, like I mentioned, is generally terrible. And in this case, she was a cheater. He was just a wrecker, you call it. I know, like mentioned, obviously Nick is just as, actually not, you know, I wouldn't say he's just as bad as Rachel Lee, because Rachel's obviously the one who was in a relationship with Eric, and she was the one who cheated. Nick had nobody, so you know that's a bit of a different thing. Rachel, that thing about her really, you know, left a really bad taste in my mouth. The fact that she just cheated in general, that's a huge drop of likability. In my opinion, cheating is unbelievable, and honestly, it's always crazy to me how some people actually look over it. Like, I know that there were relationships that even after cheating and it came out that they still were able to live on happily after. But I think it's really one of those things that you just shouldn't do. You definitely shouldn't do it. I mean, unless there's like a, you know, consent thing where like, you know, you go explore some people here and there and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But like, that alone just really left a bad taste in my mouth about Rachel. Outside of that, she's also badass, smart, you know, and a cool character and everything. But that alone really leaves me no choice but put her here. I have to, okay? That's just, that was just really not a cool arc for her. Just immediately made her the least likable character for me in Out of Ashes. Not as unlikable as Sailor, I'm sorry. But yeah, the cheating thing really put a big minus onto her likability. Now, obviously, Salim, a freaking king, an absolute highlight, maybe even the best character across all the games. He's, like mentioned, badass. He's a caring father. He wants to end the war. He wants no conflicts with the Americans and all that stuff. I mean, actually, you can make him that way too, of course. But the way I played him and the way we saw his story unfold, an absolute incredible character and extremely likable on top of that. Was debating if he deserves his own tier as well. But like mentioned, these two are reserved for two characters that I just like more than anybody else, just on a likability way. Not necessarily better characters, you know, but like Salim is not just a 10 out of 10 character, but also someone that is extremely likable. And as you can see here, 4 of 5 characters are deemed awesome from me. And that says a lot about how awesome House of Ashes is. Fantastic cast, okay? And like mentioned, even outside of the entire cheating thing, Rachel's still the baddest too, okay? So House of Ashes is just so freaking cool. We're off to the final 2 games. We now have the Quarry. And first up is Abigail, and she's just lovely, okay? I was so depressed when I got her killed, because Abigail is just one of those characters. She's like nothing crazy in the sense of, you know, like as a character in the story, you know, like she doesn't really add too much to the story outside of the entire Nick angle. But she's, in my opinion, just someone so innocent and so likable, and someone you just really want to protect. I think she's just so awesome. She has a great personality, just a cute, innocent girl who loves to draw. You know, how can you not like that? She's cool, she's wonderful, and definitely deserving of their awesome list, or like tier, such as Dylan. I don't know, some people probably thought Dylan would be in one of these tiers here. But again, 2 other will get into those tiers. I'm sorry about that. But Dylan, obviously, like mentioned, also alongside Salim and Jason, some of the best characters in the entire franchise. But even on just that, when you even, you know, don't want to look at him as a complex game character, you only look at his personality. He's insanely protective. He's really funny, and just someone who wants to have fun. You know, just a cool young guy that you can hang out with and have fun with, and he's awesome, man. Dylan is awesome. Dylan is just an extremely cool guy. Next up is Emma, and she is very similar to Emily and Jessica in the sense of she's extremely mean, has a very bitchy attitude, but towards the right people she can be very caring. But I still have to actually put her here, unlike these two, because it feels even worse with Emma. It just feels even, you know, the entire thing with the social media as well, you know, on top of that, and again, kissing the crush of your best friend? No. Fuck off. Okay? Seriously. Honestly, I might even... Maybe I even have to put it here. Because that is like actually something so unlikable to do that. Even if it was just for fun, you know, as a campfire, blah 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 stuff. Like, I think I remember actually really struggling, thinking about likability reasons for her doing the ranking video for the Quarry. again, she has the thing is, many people would say like, she does that entire thing, you know, to just because she's actually, you know, very insecure about herself and all that kind of stuff, right? But honestly, yeah, I think I actually want to put Emma alongside with Taylor. In my opinion, probably the most unlikable characters. There's just no moment in the game actually where you could like really feel for Emma, or where I'm like really like, oh, you're actually a cool girl, you know. She's bitchy, she kisses the crush of a friend in front of her, she's mean to Jacob even after, she's mocking him for crying. Yeah, actually, fuck you, Emma. And honestly, Emma then is actually even worse than Taylor in that sense, because again, Taylor wasn't necessarily like a big bitch. Like, I mean, she had a bit of beef with Angela, which was annoying. Like, Emma might literally actually be the most cruel of them all. Seriously. The mocking, crying thing and the kissing thing are probably the most unlikable things I've seen in all the games, actually. Do I actually need to give Emma her own tier? Or like Taylor and Emma her own tier? I will just leave it like that now, okay? Again, I think Taylor's just really unlikable because she doesn't have really any likable reasons, or like something that makes her likable. But like the thing about Emma is that she doesn't have anything that makes her likable, but things you can really, really, you know, get angry at. So she's actually even worse than Taylor in that way. Damn. I don't have another color. That's the thing. When you want to change the colors here now, then, you know, there's no deeper color than red, so I would have to change all this as well. I will just leave it now like that. But Emma, probably the most unlikable character for me. Sorry. Like, again, her character itself adds a lot to the Quarry and the entire dynamic of it, but when you just look at her personality, probably shouldn't say that because of, you know, monetization, but bitch. No? Next up is Jacob. And Jacob, I like him. I wouldn't say he's necessarily awesome, because he definitely has things to his personality and character that are a bit childish, a bit immature, a bit annoying, you know, trying to be a bit too, you know, bit to be the tough guy and the cool guy and whatever. But ultimately, I think he's still a nice young man who obviously has a lot of feelings for someone and makes mistakes because of it. But ultimately, someone that I don't think meant harm to anybody, and it's therefore, in my opinion, still someone very likable. I think I like them is definitely a very, very reasonable position here. Like, you know, I like you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the marry me tier. Kaitlyn, she's my girl. Okay, Kaitlyn is my absolute most likable character in all the games. I'll put her definitely up here because she's definitely the one that, I don't know, they literally, I mean, I've already told this story before, but as a kid, yeah, as a young little boy, I had a huge crush on Brenda's song on Zack and Cody, okay? When you then obviously have her play years later, when I'm grown up, have her play a, you know, sharp-tongued but very, very cool and fresh girl in Kaitlyn. I'm sorry, how can I not like that? I'm sorry, she's definitely the most likable for me in that way alone, because I really, really appreciate the actor, and, you know, like, I don't know, Kaitlyn is, you know, call me. But yeah, Kaitlyn is really, really cool. She's definitely the one I like the most of all the characters. And I honestly must say, now that I think about it, first Brenda song, then the girl that played the pink Power Ranger in in Power Ranger Samurai, and now generally being a huge K-pop fan. I guess I have a type. I guess you can say it like that. So yeah, Kaitlyn gets the very, very unique marry me tier. I love you. You too. Next up is Laura, and she's awesome. Very similar to Sam. I think their characters are very, very comparable in that way. Badass, caring, cool, highlight of the game, dope girl. Laura is really, really cool. She really, really cares for Max as well. She has a great personality to herself, and like mentioned, just really is able to take care of herself as well. You know, it's also really, really admirable. Laura is awesome. Great. Next up is Max, and as a character himself, you know, he was more in the middle, near the bottom actually, when it comes to the Quarry, because his character is just so underutilized. Again, we will be going to a screen time tier list at one point as well. We'll go more into detail about it again. But when you look at him just as a personality way, then Max is awesome. You don't get to see much of him, but he's a fun, very caring boyfriend. That's basically it. But it's more than enough to consider him awesome, in my opinion. Okay, he really loves Laura. He really wants the best for her. He's just really, really cool. He's awesome. Okay, as a character himself, or like as a full character when it comes to the game, unfortunately, whatever. But just when you look at him personality-wise, king, an absolute king. Now, next up is Nick. And that's a bit of a weird case, because just like Max, you don't see a lot of Nick. There's not a lot of Nick sequences and scenes to judge him, really, because, you know, he spends half of the game as a werewolf, or as infected, and that obviously really affects his personality. So the only thing you can really look at when it comes to Nick is chapter 1, 2, and 3. Not even 3 necessarily, because he gets like injured straight away as well. You only have 2 chapters to really judge his personality, because everything afterwards, like, really, you know. Can I say I like Nick from just the first 2 chapters? Honestly, the fact that he went in for the kiss with Emma, you know, I mean, he did want to apologize to Abigail afterwards, but yeah, I actually gotta say neutral after that. Like, not necessarily really dislikable, you know, was obviously more on Emma in that entire situation, but there's just, you literally just can't tell that much, okay? You just did not get to see enough of Nick to really judge him as a character or personality that much. Even like in the first 2 chapters, he barely had any scenes, you know? Like the scenes with Abigail in the forest are actually quite nice, but he's okay. Final of the Quarry is Ryan, and he's, in my opinion, a very what would you call it? Not as what would you call it? I think I've explained this very well in the character ranking video, actually. Ryan is one of those characters, or one of those personalities, that you need to get to know to really enjoy them. I know people that, like, generally just enjoy his personality, because I remember a lot of people dislike Ryan, thought him boring and obnoxious, and, you know, and there were definitely moments that did that, or like made him feel that way. But I personally think he's awesome, okay? I personally think he still has a more than good core to himself. He's very fun, he's still very caring, badass as well, and in my opinion, really likable, okay? And as you can see here once again, just like for House of Ashes, 5 of 9 characters of the Quarry are awesome for me. And that's one of the many reasons why I really enjoy the game, okay? Just very enjoyable characters here. Again, Nick is just okay. Emma, like mentioned. Then we had, like mentioned, Jacob or no, just Jacob in there as well, who was just very nice, right? Jacob, like mentioned, has his downsides, but still more upsides in my opinion. And my babe, okay? Now, last but not least, we have the Devil in Me. And the thing is, Charlie, as a character himself, I would put it very high. One of the most entertaining characters in the entire franchise. When you just look at it personality-wise, I think he has a very difficult side to him. You see it really clearly with Erin near the beginning, where he can be like a very bitchy, very bossy, and very toxic person. But he also, in scenes like with Mark in the very beginning of the game, showed that he's actually just a cool dude. So again, as a character fully, I'd put him very high here. But when you just look at him personality-wise, yes, it's difficulties, but I honestly still like him a lot. I think he's one of those old guys, you know, with the British accent. You can, like, you know, sit together with and have a great conversation with, and I think that's a lot with. I think that's similar to John, actually. I think John and Charlie are definitely that way. They have their negatives and downsides personality-wise, but ultimately I think they're just cool dudes. They have a bit of a rough outside, but once you get to know them a bit, I think they're really cool. And come on, you all guessed it, right? You all guessed it. Protect at all cost. Erin gets her own separate tier as well. easily, like mentioned, the thing with Kaitlyn is I don't find her just that likable, but because of the entire crush thing with Brandon Song, I would actually put her in a position which is like literally the only character across all the games where like really, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say feel something for, you know, it's just a drawing. If we want to go like that, but again, I think with the entire Brandon Song thing on top of that, I think it's more than fair to go someone like this. But when we really just look at characters and how likable they are, then Erin is the one. It's just the most likable for me, 100%. Again, I'm still pulling out the dagger out of my heart that I crushed into myself when I literally chose to kill her. It still makes me mad, you know. But hey, she's just an innocent young girl, you know, has a tough time at work because of her boss, who just is a bit in love with her, with a coworker, and who, when she's scared, sings songs. This is my Don't Be Scared song, singing it, I won't be scared long. How can you not love her, man? She's precious. I think that's really the best way to choose. And I think that's similar to Abigail. I think Abigail is also very likable because she feels so innocent and cute and precious. But I feel like it applies double as much to Erin. Erin is just a precious girl a precious woman. Like mentioned, really pained me to kill. But yeah, she definitely deserves her own tier as well, alongside Kaitlyn, in my opinion, the most likable characters. Now we go off to Jamie, and Jamie is, in my opinion, also one of those rather, I wouldn't say controversial picks, but she's also one of those. I think she's similar to Jacob actually, where she has her bit of negatives, but also more positives. Okay, I think I put her into like them. You know, Jamie is a bit of a mean side to her as well that you can see here and there, which she feels a bit unnecessarily bitchy. Not as much as these two, or you know, but still there. But ultimately, I think she's still cool, and I would definitely put her here. Now, Kate. Honestly, again, I will talk about it more during my full-on character ranking video. But Kate was really the character in the game for me that it just felt the least towered in both ways. There was no moment really where it made me go, wow, you're cool, I like you a lot, but also no moment that really made me go, oh, you suck, you know? Just similar to Julia, actually, I think. You know, Kate is definitely still more worth in the story, you can say, but just like Julia, she's like, you know, like, hey, I don't dislike you, but I don't like you either, so neutral, right? Best way to put it. And last but not least is Mark. Mark? Yeah, was Mark, not Mike. I think Mark also goes entirely in here. Okay, he's also more of a normal person. You know, I think you can actually put him quite similarly to Alex and Brad, where he's like, you know, nothing crazy in terms of character work and everything, but ultimately just a nice guy, you know, someone you can hang out with, someone that's still likable, or what means still likable, that's just likable, okay? I wouldn't call him like, oh my god, you're the best, oh my goodness, I love you, bro, or stuff like that, but hey, Mark just was all the way through a very, very nice character that I really enjoyed to play along with. I think that's why it's more than fair to put him in here. And yeah, 43 minutes of non-stop talking. Oh boy, remember why I feel it. Okay, I remember why I'm really doing less K-pop reactions actually. Because in the K-pop reactions I talk non-stop. When I do gaming reactions I often have lots of breather moments in between, you know, where I can just shut down for like, even if it's just 10 seconds, it's still worth a lot. Maybe I'll make the next one not uncut, I won't even lie, but yeah. Where to put that here? This is our full tier list, our first one of few to come when it comes to Supermassive Games today with the topic likability. Who do I like, who do I not like? What do you think? Do you agree with my picks? What are your picks? How does your list look like? Tell me all about it down below in the comments as well. As mentioned, look forward to the full ranked character ranking video for the Dark Page Anthology and lots more Supermassive Games content in the future as well. I hope you had fun with this, and tell me please down below how much you enjoy this format, you know, a much more lean back, unscripted type of format rather than, you know, the edited videos. So yeah, tell me all about it. I really want to hear your feedback. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you again soon on the channel. Stay safe and happy. Thank you for watching. Bye.